Welcome to Wicked Shizuku's Reviews, bringing you a southern perspective on books, movies, music, and much, much more. Stick around for a while, you just might hear something wicked. Hello and welcome back again. This is episode 35 of Wicked Shizuku's Reviews Friday Reads. So let us get back to it. And I will be continuing on section 3 of Modern Etiquette from the New Book of Etiquette, 1920s edition. So we shall be learning this time about the background of American manners. The 100 Years' War had just ceased when Columbus discovered America. All European was in a state of social turmoil. Feudalism was disappearing and cities were beginning to flourish. During the 2 centuries that followed, Europe knew no peace. The countries were engaged almost continuously in armed conflict over religious and political difficulties. It was a time when new nations and new religions were being born. It is not strange that great masses of people began to move westward, toward the setting sun, toward the new world. They were tired of war and of turmoil. They were weary with oppression, and it was not because of America drew on them, says a writer on the subject, but because Europe drove them out, that the colonists came to America. And America had little to offer these brave firstcomers. A chance to live in freedom, but freedom in a land frigid with forests and peopled with a strange red race. Freedom in a bleak wilderness across the sea, in a land cut off from their own land, under conditions that caused many a stout heart to falter, many a brave spirit to surrender in death. The early American settlers lived in a state of society, but little removed from savagery. Their homes were made rudely of logs. They faced the same sort of conflicts as our savage ancestors did long ago. They lived simply as men and women fighting for existence always do. And living here in virgin forests, cut off from the routine of living they once had known, banded together for safety and protection. These people came to understand the cloak of hypocrisy that civilization sometimes dons. They discovered that the narrow social standards of the old world would not fit into the bigness of their new life. They learned to appreciate one another for what they truly were. They realized that 1,000,000 social trifles could not equal one gesture of humanity. Something big and beautiful entered the lives of these early men and women. It has lived on, reflected in the manners and customs of American life. Now we shall learn about our pioneer heritage. There have been many forces at work in America creating the social fabric which now exists, but there is nothing in American history more inspiring, nothing that has had a greater influence upon our social evolution than the march of the army of pioneers across the continent. In his Social Forces in American History, A.S. Simmons says, "The frontier has been the great amalgamating force in American life. It took the Europeans and in a single lifetime sent him through the racial evolution of 100 generations. When he had finished, the few peculiar customs he had brought from a single country were gone, and he was that peculiarity 20th century product, the typical American. The typical American is honest and sincere, with a sense of true values and a friendly, courteous attitude toward everyone. That is the heritage handed down to him by the early settlers who braved the ocean to make their homes here. The typical American possesses fragments of manners and conventions that are not American at all, but are borrowed from England, France, and Spain. These old world conventions have not entirely disappeared, as suggested in the quotation above, but have permeated our own social fabric and have become associated with American conventions. We cannot wholly escape the old world influence, no more than we can escape the influence of our savage ancestry. The typical American is above all courageous and unafraid, daring to do the thing he knows to be right, scorning all sham and artifice, recognizing no social forms that are not based upon instincts of genuine human kindliness. The days of pioneering are not so far removed from our time as to have lost their thrill of romance and adventure. The power and glory of pioneering, the bigness and the beauty of it, can never be lost upon the true American spirit. Stalwart men cutting through the wilderness pushed out the frontier of the nation. Splendid women enduring untold hardships made homes for the men who were making a nation. There was no opportunity to develop the subtleties of social life, no need for the polish that civilization demands. Here, man met man in freedom. Here, class restrictions vanished in the vast stretch of prairie and wilderness. Here, people were people. Life was lived simply, even crudely, but there dwelt in the hearts and minds of these pioneers and philosophy, rich in the traditions of America's first settlers, tolerance, justice, kindliness, sympathy. And that is our pioneer heritage. That is our generous American philosophy. So, I hope you enjoyed this week's etiquette lesson from Lillian Eichler. And if you found this educational, please like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for watching.